If you're trying to become an instructional designer, or if you're looking for formal education in the field, it's easy to get overwhelmed by all of the different options. Master's degrees, certificate programs, industry certifications, or maybe even self-teaching with YouTube and AI. For a lot of people who want that industry recognition, certification is a natural next step, but does it give you a leg up in the field, and is it actually worth it? That's what we're going to take a look at in this video. So over the years, whenever people have asked me if they need a certification to break into the field or land a better role, my answer has always been no. And that's because the number one thing you can do to actually have an impact on your job search is to create a strong portfolio that shows off the in-demand skills that hiring managers are actually looking for. And think about it, right? If you're a hiring manager, what's going to have a bigger impact? A line on someone's resume that says certified instructional designer, or a portfolio website that you can visit and actually see the person's skills in action and the projects that they've created. So for example, let's take a look at Maggie's portfolio here. So Maggie is a recently graduated boot camper who landed a really good role, and this is her portfolio site. So I think it's a really good example of like how you can design a nice, simple, user-friendly portfolio that's going to do some work for you on the job search, right? We can learn a bit about who Maggie is. We can immediately see a featured project of Maggie's. We can learn more, and we can see the full problem and solution that Maggie solved, as well as all the tools she used and what she did to bring this project to life. This is going to go much further, right? Pulling the curtain back on your process and actually giving us a real project we can experience, right? If we click this button, we can actually see the person's project for ourselves. We can see their visual design skills, how engaging the content is, how well it's achieving the learning goals. That's going to have a much bigger impact than just a single line item on a resume. So that's always going to be the most important thing. And the hiring managers agree, right? In our most recent hiring manager survey, we asked what the top 3 things are that they consider when evaluating an instructional designer for a role. Almost 3/4 of them list the portfolio, and 1/5 of them list the education as one of the top 3 things. So that gives you an idea of what hiring managers are thinking. And again, just you can imagine how much more immersive it is to see the person's skills in action than to see a line item on a resume. All of that being said, though, my perspective has shifted on this just a bit, okay? So some of you may know, right, I've been running a boot camp for almost 5 years now, where we help people build strong portfolios and land good roles in the field. And I've spent the past year turning that boot camp into a career school. So before we were a career school and we were just a boot camp helping people build portfolios, a lot of people like to try, some people like to criticize the program and try to cut me down and say, oh, Devlin doesn't know what he's talking about. He's newer to the field, or all he does is teach storyline. And I didn't have as much formal credibility and legitimacy to back me up. Yes, people are creating great portfolios and landing roles, but I didn't have a formalized curriculum I could point to and say, oh no, our students are mastering all of these competencies, for example. But as we went through this career school process to get licensed and meet all of these state laws and regulations and requirements, we also had to, build out basically a 200-page document with all of our curriculum, listing every single one of our competencies, standards, learning objectives, evaluation plans, right? How are we making sure our students actually have mastered these objectives before graduating? And then we had to form a body of independent experts in the field with years and years of experience. We had to ask them, with no, financial obligation or affiliation with us, to review that huge document, give us their feedback so that we can make it better and ensure that it's preparing people for a mid-level instructional design role in the field, a corporate role specifically. So having gone through that whole process, again, it took just about a year. We're much more legit now, you could say. So now we have this document I can point to and say, here are all the standards and competencies you will learn in this certification program we're offering now. So again, we didn't have this before with the bootcamp, but through this formalizing, we can point to this now. And if someone says, oh yeah, all he does is teach storyline, it's well, actually, we have much wider range of standards and competencies that people are going to get practice and get evaluated on as they go through this program. So I've showed this off a little bit. I've teased it in different videos, but y'all have been asking to see it for yourselves. So I'm just going to link to this Google Doc right in the description of this video. So you can just click a link and it'll open right up, and you can see kind of what went into building out this new certification program that we're offering. So I'll link that here. And what I found, obviously, I didn't really see the light in the beginning. It took a little bit of time, but as I was going through this formalizing process and getting licensed, I realized, and I was realizing, wow, this does make us a lot more legit. It gives us stronger legs to stand on when people want to push back. And it reminded me of people, some of my good connections in the field who talk about why they got master's degrees. Right? Maybe they were already working in the field, they were doing good work on the job, but they would have like older coworkers or peers who would say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I have a master's, and like, you don't. So, it's something like having this certification with these competencies, it just makes it a bit more like legit, in my opinion, so that when people do try to push back on you, instead of feeling like any self-doubt or stuff like that, it's like, oh no, I did my homework, right? I got my degrees, I got my certification, I know what I'm talking about. So it's nice to have that added like confidence and credibility, I guess is what I'm learning. And we had to go through that for our career school, and it's nice to have like for my business and for my program, but I also realized that we can pass that on to our students. So rather than just say, oh, our career school is legit because we, teach these competencies, now it makes our graduates more legit because our graduates can say that they've mastered these competencies. So we're able to offer this like formal certificate, highlighting the certification. We're able to give people that line item on their resume that says like certified instructional designer, instructional design professional, with all of the bullet points about what they accomplished in the program. Right? It's a talking point for interviews. People can highlight it on LinkedIn. So again, portfolio still the number one thing, but this is just like added, layered credibility that people can add on top. And then, again, we even have like a transcript, right? So because we are like a formal, legit school now, right? Like everyone who graduates from this program will have this emphasizing that they've mastered all of these different competencies. So if hiring managers or something had questions about it or wanted to see it, it's a great way to kind of reinforce your skills versus just, oh, I've watched a ton of YouTube videos, or I took some LinkedIn learning courses. Having that extra credibility to offer to our students is really nice. So I don't think it's going to be the make or break of whether or not you get hired, but I definitely think it will pay off if you do decide to do a program or a certification program like this that has gone through the work like we have to lay out all the competencies and standards that you will master, and they have a solid curriculum and practice to help you back it up. All right, what else do I have for you here? I think that's my take on it. That's where I stand today. Obviously I'm offering this certification program now, so I've come to see like the benefits of it, and I want to pass those on to you. Your portfolio, that's going to be the most important thing in your job search. If you want the added credibility and legitimacy that comes with certification, we offer a certification program now. So if you want to work with me and my team on your portfolio, most importantly, but also on mastering all of these different competencies that are in demand in the field, and then having that certification, on your resume, on your LinkedIn to back you up, in addition to that really solid portfolio, we just opened applications for the first cohort of Peck Academy of this ID professional certification, and we'd love to work with you. We've made some really solid curriculum updates, so the portfolios coming out of this are going to be the best ones that we've shown the industry yet. So we're going to shake things up a bit with this first cohort. If you are trying to break into the field or just land a better role, then we would love to work with you. So feel free to apply. You can learn more at peckacademy.com. And thank you for making it to the end of this video. Oh, also, one more thing. We're doing a tour in a couple of days. So if you want to get a behind the scenes look at the program, talk to all of the current students, see what they're accomplishing, then we're going to dive way deeper into that on Thursday. So I'll share a link to that in the description as well if you want to join us live for the tour. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.